of the hour, John Gomes is on the show. John, are you there? Yes.
Hi guys. Sorry.
Oh yes. Drop your camera a little bit down so we can see you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry about
What
that.
happened?
I don't
What
know,
happened?
but just technical glitches. But here I am, like magic.
Here you are like magic. I love it. So, John, I was just telling them, give us a little bit of how you and Frederick started Three Offices. Just give us the short version because we have so much to get to today. But I think I remember you guys saying a story about like you met in an office and you just knew that your energy was connected.
Yeah, we met 15 years ago, and there was an immediate kinetic energy that the two of us could both feel. And we got to know one another. We actually became friends first. And after becoming friends and spending a lot of time together and getting to know one another very well, we became business partners. And we did it alone for a long time. And then we slowly added an assistant and another person. And one thing came to the next, and it was 15 years later, where we look as young as we did then, by the way.
You
Uh,
sure do.
But we started a team. It's now, gosh, 80 people strong in 3 different cities. So yeah, we're pretty proud of it.
I love that. So, how do you always work with your friends? Because I've heard it both ways. Work with your
Yeah,
friends and don't work with your friends.
right. So I don't think, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I don't think I've ever really worked with a friend before. Frederick is probably the first friend that I work with. It's really funny when I call him a friend because he is a friend. He's a best friend, but he really feels like the little brother that I never had. I mean,
I
Frederick and
love
I
that.
are, to be fair, we are family, truly. We really are family. We've got kids that are the same age, and our husbands are great friends, and we are so close, and we've traveled the world, I think almost every continent together. So yeah, we're very, very, very close.
That's incredible. And I had all these amazing pictures of you and your kids, and they're not showing up on my iPad because today I think like Mercury is in retrograde or
It's
something.
in Mercury is in retrograde until the 12th, I can tell you.
Oh my God. Is
I've
that why
been
my
contending with it
technology
all
isn't
week.
working?
Yes,
Ah,
yes, yes.
well, tell me a little bit about having children. You had kids later on in life, and it's
Yes.
such an inspiration to me because as a gay man in my late 30s, I'm like, I will never have the chance to have children. It's over for me. And then I see people like you and Frederick who have kids and have it all. How do you have it all?
Yeah. Well, but by the way, the reason that I have kids later in life is because it really, culturally, America wasn't there. Gays being able to have the right to marry federally. And so it was until that point, or it wasn't until that point, I think, that gay men felt that they could A, be married and be recognized, and then also have families, which was sort of the normal thing to do. And I feel very fortunate to arrive at that very moment in our culture of our society where it became sort of acceptable. And I just usurped the opportunity and jumped in and had kids, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my whole life.
But it wasn't an easy road for you. You said it took a while, and now you
Not
have
an
these
easy
two
road.
beautiful children.
Not an easy road is an understatement. It was 3 years long. It was high pressure. It was very expensive. And it was heartbreaking because I think we tried maybe 8 or 9 times. And at a
Oh my
certain point,
God.
by the way, I was keeping a tally on my spreadsheets of like what I was spending and how much each, part of the process costs.
Oh yeah.
And I think on the fifth time, I literally took a printout of everything that I had on the computer and I ceremoniously ripped it up and I threw it in the garbage. And I said to my husband, this process is difficult and it's quite expensive, yes, but the outcome will be priceless. So it doesn't really matter to me how much this costs. And I'm never, ever giving up. And we like did this pinky thing together, say, never give up, never give up. And we just never gave up. And one day
Oh,
our
that is so
kids came.
sweet.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together, you and your husband?
17 years, and it's our anniversary coming up on his birthday on the 15th of July.
What? You guys met on his birthday?
It's not that we met on his birthday, it's just that that was the day that we got engaged, and that happened to be his birthday. And that was also the day that we got married because we wanted to get married in the summer. And we just thought, hey, this, July 15th thing is working for us. So we may as well stick to it. If it's not
You're all,
broke,
saves me a
don't try to
gift.
fix
It
it.
saves me a gift. That's incredible. 17 years in gay years. That is like
Yeah,
almost
a
30 years.
lifetime, a
Yeah,
lifetime.
it's
Yes.
times two.
Times two. Yes.
It's times two. I love that. Well, John, let us go a little bit into what you are doing. I would show pictures of your kids, but then I'd have to pause this, and we don't want to do that. Let me actually
No.
talk a little bit
By the way, if
about.
you want to see pictures of my kids, just go on my Instagram. It's John Gomes, JOHNGOMES.
Ooh, yes, pin that
Instagram. I got
comment.
tons of pictures there.
They're so adorable, and they look just they're twins, but they don't look like twins. One has blonde curly hair, Raphael, and
Yeah.
then your girl has dark hair, and she looks exactly like your husband. So did you guys have two eggs?
It's the magic of science. There are two
Say
eggs,
nice.
right?
Yes.
So it's the magic. It's the magic of science because we had an egg donor, and
Uh-huh.
the egg donor gave us multiple eggs. We bought these eggs from this wonderful woman, and then we found a surrogate who was going to be the one who carried our children. But the step in between was to work with these scientists and these very talented doctors, who I'm very grateful to, who ultimately created embryos. So they took sperm from my husband, they took sperm from me, they put the sperm and the eggs together in two separate petri dishes, and voila, they created a number of embryos,
Wow.
and they test the embryos to see the viability of them to make sure that they're strong enough to be transplanted into the carrier. And
My
that
God.
once you get to that process, so you get to that process, and then you're like, okay, so let's do this transplant. It
Right.
took us quite a few misfires, and sadly enough, we had one miscarriage. But
Mm.
I think of it this way: Raphael and Paloma, our two children, are the most beautiful angels. They are everything to both of us, and I couldn't
Yes.
ever imagine not having those two exact children. So everything in life happens when it's supposed to be, and I just
John, that is
believe in
so
that so
inspiring.
truly.
It's so inspiring to gay men like me who want to have kids but don't think I can do it for like 5 or 8 more years. You're an inspiration. Let's talk a little bit about, and that sounds really cheap actually, those scientists and those embryos.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go talk a little bit about, we ask guests on the show all for the same advice, which we think is really palpable for young agents. The first one is, what would your billboard say? If you had a billboard that could share a
Wow.
personal mantra, what would your billboard say? Is it never give up, never give up? I thought that was so cute.
No, although I, for many years, used to have that note card on my desk at work, and I'm still not giving up. However, I think mine would probably be a little bit more for the times. In Times Square, I'd probably have a billboard that said, "Love is the answer."
Hmm.
That would be mine because I feel like there's so much hate going on in the world, and love always trumps hate in every single situation. And sometimes you might fall victim to someone else's, really terrible act, but you don't want to respond in the same way that they give it back to you, because it becomes this perpetual problem of hate, and that just lives in our society. And I think love is the answer. I think love solves everything, truly. So my
Mm.
billboard would definitely say, "Love is the answer," with a big red heart.
With a big red heart.
Yeah.
What advice would you give your young agent self, the self that met Frederick years and years and years ago, before you even started a brokerage together? What advice would you tell your younger self?
I think the advice that I would tell my younger self would actually be yourself. When I
Be
was young and I was
yourself.
starting out, I tried to appease everyone, and I tried like a chameleon to sort of adapt to every situation. And I would meet my clients and I would try to sort of be like them, or be the person that they wanted me to be. And the older that I got and the more experience that I got at what I was doing, the more that I realized, by being myself, there's only one of me in the world, and nobody can compete with that. By being myself, I'm the most comfortable that I will ever be in my own skin. And when you're comfortable in your own skin, then others will be comfortable with you too. So the best advice that I would give my younger self would be to be yourself.
Are you more successful when you're yourself?
100%. I mean, I laugh at myself sometimes, honestly. I mean, look, 15 years later and all the success, which I'm very grateful for, I realized I can almost do things the way that I want to do things now. And I
Yes,
don't have to take on all these listings or certain projects, or I don't have to work with people that I don't want to work with. And
exactly.
so I'm just myself, and I'm unabashedly me. I always say, I live my life out loud. I am who I am. I make no excuses for it. I'm very happy. I'm very lucky. I have a beautiful family. I have a great business partner who's my best friend, and I am me, and I'm myself. And if you like it, great. Get on the train. We're going places. And if you don't like it, keep your story moving.
And people, your clients buy you
Yes.
and Frederick, like that. That's what they're buying. And I think when you have a personal brand, it's so important that you be yourself. What is one personal epiphany? There's no card for this question, but I love it. What's a personal epiphany that you've had during COVID? What's an aha moment? Like, I
God.
think everyone learned something about themselves. Like these past 3 months, what did you learn about yourself?
What did I learn about myself during this COVID? Um,
Yeah.
wow.
Like I learned my own power, like how to say no to certain things. And
Right. Yeah. So what did I learn about myself during COVID?
some people learned
Um,
they love little things like watering a garden. It doesn't have to
yeah.
be.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess like if anything, the silver lining for everything for me during this COVID has been my children because they are 2.5 years old. And I did learn this actually. I I learned to spend more time with my children. When I'm in the city, I work all day and I have some meetings and I have some free time. Then I have meetings and I go eat lunch and I have time in between. And I never took advantage of that time in between to just say, hey, check in on my kids and go see what they're doing, give them a kiss. I learned how much they really need me and how much they really love me. And I realize also that they are the most important aspect of my whole life, bar none. It doesn't matter. Take it all away. I don't care. I actually do
Hmm.
think about that often. I think if you took everything away from me, I just wouldn't care. Just don't take my kids. Um, just don't take my kids.
Hmm.
So they're so important to me and they love me so much and they need me that what I learned is that I need them too. So I need to find more time during my workday to just pop in and say, hey, I love you, give them a hug. What I'm going to get back from that is so much more than I don't know. That's what I learned because I'm spending more time with my kids. So
My
it's all
friend,
about them.
my friend Tino this morning said, "You can't pour from an empty cup," and I thought that was so
Exactly.
true. So, like,
It's
your
true.
cup floweth over with your children.
It truly, truly does. My kids, a lot of people said, oh, when you have kids, it's like your life is going to change and your business is not going to be such a priority. The fact is that I had my kids and I became more successful because I'm happier. I'm really,
Wow.
really happy. And it's like I don't need a lot of sleep. I go to bed late. I wake up early with the kids. No, it's true, but
It's
there's
true. You need
something
like six
about it.
hours.
No, but there's something about those kids. I don't know, like the energy that they give me. I just when I look at
It's immeasurable. Well,
yes.
since we're talking about working in New York, why don't we transition and pop over to New York? I want to show this property, which you actually gave a tour of earlier this week on Tuesday. No, this is not the property.
Yes,
Tell
this is
us
not
about this
property.
property.
Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite listings. It's 15 Central Park West, and if you don't live in New York,
Don't tell them the price.
this is
Don't tell them the price. We're going to have them guess the
okay. I won't.
price. Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite listings. It's one of the most preeminent buildings in New York City. It literally
Holy.
sits right on Central Park. Yeah, it's crazy. This building has staff that's unparalleled, views that is just
Whoa.
incomparable. I mean, truly, that particular apartment is the penthouse of that building. So you're living at the
My
crown,
God.
at the top of the top building in New York City. This is where, and I can say this, Sting recently sold his apartment here to move across the street, but there's tons of celebrities who have lived or who currently live here, and not only celebrities, but captains of industry. It's one of those like, who's
Ooh.
who, if you will.
The
Yeah.
Titans of New York. Look
Titans
at this.
of New York.
Look at this view, John. Do you ever go to this listing and think, my God, I am
Yes. Are you
so
kidding me?
lucky?
It's one of my favorite parts about my job. I mean, I'm blessed to live in beautiful homes myself, but admittedly, I don't live in a home like that at that price point. But the truth is that, like I said earlier, I'm not home all the time. I'm working all day. But when I work in real estate. So I sell these beautiful homes. So
Oh
I'm
my
spending,
God.
I spend time going from this beautiful one to the next beautiful one to the next beautiful one.
Exactly.
So I'm so fortunate that I get to, and I'm so comfortable with these homes. I know them like they are my own because I'm very passionate about them and I'm selling them. So for me, I feel like I'm very lucky. I spend a lot of time in this really beautiful home looking at those unbelievable views. Yes.
This is incredible. So tell me, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? Because the audience is going to try and guess the price if they know the New York market. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms is 15 Central Park West?
Yeah, so it's 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms and outdoor space, terraces, which by the way is very, very rare. To live in a
Rare.
tower at the top like this, it has that beautiful vista of Central Park. It's just you don't see that every day.
All right, audience, would you guess it's 4,024 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms with this amazing view? Would you like to guess the price? Do we have any guesses of the price? Guess the price? We have a 16.9 million. It's a little higher than that. A little higher.
This is New York. It's Central Park. It's a
What are the
penthouse. It's
I
the
just
best building.
we
Up,
got a
up,
40 million, a
up,
40
up.
million
Okay,
from
you're
Mr.
getting
Bunduck, a
closer.
40 million closer,
Getting
higher,
closer.
higher.
Higher.
What's
Do
it
you
like
want
to
to go
sell
higher?
85 million from Sam Palmer? Is lower,
Okay,
Sam.
a little bit
Okay,
lower, lower.
okay, Sam. Have you heard of Sam's company, Staffing Properties, where they Sam? You have to. I'll send you this article, but he has a company called
Great.
Staffing Properties. Anyone, we're a little closer to 40 million, 45. We're gonna give it to Mr. Bunduck for 45. It's actually $48 million. Whoever gets the closest without going over. Thank you, Mr. Bunduck, who watches the
By the
show.
way, it's a rare opportunity that a home like this actually does come to the market. So I know for some people you think, oh, $48 million is a lot, but it is really priced for the market that we're in. It's a sound investment because the people who bought here have owned these apartments. You own them for a few years, the market goes up, the building is in such high demand, you cannot go wrong. It's like money in the bank with a really
So,
good rate of return.
but what's going on with the New York market? Are you guys? I saw a report that you can get an amazing deal right now because of COVID. Do you think that's true, or do
Yeah,
you
you
think?
can.
Yeah.
It's not just because of COVID. Look, the New York market was a little bit soft,
Uh
even
huh.
before COVID came. The issue that we're having in New York right now is that there's a tremendous amount of inventory. And what happens when inventory goes up and demand goes down? Prices go down. So that was already the situation. And then COVID came. And of course, we're still trying to figure out what the economic impact of that is. However, I can tell you, the prices are lower. But for me, it
How much
represents,
lower?
I don't know the exact amount because we just started getting back to work and we don't know
Hmm.
that. So we don't have enough data. I'm very much all about the data. I don't just throw random numbers out there. I'm like very number centric. But we
Hmm.
should have that data in the next week or so. But for me, it's a tremendous opportunity for a buyer in the marketplace today to take advantage of really good opportunities. Prices are down because the inventory is high. Your interest rates are insanely low. I had a client call me yesterday and say, do you know that JP Morgan just offered me an interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage for 2.5%? You
Wow.
have to remember, like, it wasn't that long ago that we were at 5, 6%. It just, going back like maybe 15 years ago, it was at 18%. So if you can buy an amazing apartment in a great building in a good neighborhood for a lower price than you normally would be able to, and you can get such a low interest rate from the bank, you're
Yes.
golden. It's like,
Well,
your money is just gonna, like, it's crazy to think,
that's crazy. And I've seen so many reports that a lot of the luxury buyers are trading up because of COVID. They're like, I need more
Yes,
space. Well, let's show
yes.
another property that you guys did an IGTV tour of that reached over 70,000 views recently. And it is, here's your IGTV tour. I'm going to make it small with Frederick. This was a big success for you guys, but you weren't prepared to do this. We were going to all fly to New York and do this in person for this property, and we had to pivot.
That's right. Look, the times that we're living in are all about pivoting. If you can't pivot, if you can't acclimate to what's going on around you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because as you can see, every day there's a new change. But this was great. Look, it was Frederick. This is an amazing building. People were entertained. We had technological glitches. So what? Look,
Oh
we
my
made the
God,
best
so
of it. We
many.
don't, I would say, like, we don't, like, we take our work seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. So, but this was a joy. This project is actually one of my favorite projects. We just launched it this week. It's the Emerson. It's in the Gallery District of New York. It literally straddles the High Line. The address is 500 West
Gorgeous.
25th Street. Yeah, GDS&Y is the architect, and the architect is actually the architect developer. So they're very hands-on. It's bespoke. It's 7 full-floor residences with one amazing and incredible penthouse duplex that sits on top. Every single solitary one of the units has private outdoor space. Really, really cool, beautiful lighting by a company called L'Observatoire that did the lighting for the High Line as well. That's both lighting on
Exactly.
the exterior facade and on the interior. It's actually one of only 24 buildings that was named by New York City as one of the best buildings, the safest buildings to live in. It got a certification for basically being a green building and one of the safest places to live and work in New York. By the way, as a note, there are 46,000 plus buildings in New York City, 46,000. And there are only 24 that receive that certification from the city of New York. So look, in these times that we're living in, this is a very relevant selling point.
I think that was super smart when I saw the press package about this
Yeah.
building to go out with that. And it's also just striking. Look at this photo of the exterior. It's
Oh,
really beautiful.
it's an
And
Alabama limestone. And for those who know 220 Central Park South, it's actually it's right across the street from 15 Central Park West and the same developer. And it is so exquisite and so rich in detail. The same quarry, the same exact Alabama limestone on the exterior of this very bold, striking facade.
and right by the High Line. So you can just go
Straddling
right.
the High Line.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, stunning.
Walk
Um,
down,
I,
go down and walk up. Yeah.
so this unit that we're looking at is actually on the fifth floor, or no, the sixth
Yeah.
floor, right?
That was the 5th floor.
This one's the fifth floor. So
Yeah.
tell us how much, if you guys can guess, how much do you think this unit is? It is 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,375 square feet. And Liliana says, what are the prices in that building? We are going for it, Liliana, right now.
It's
What are the
210
prices?
square feet on the exterior as well. That's important to compute.
I love it. So any guesses? Guesses? Actually, Frederick says 75,000 people watched your live tour, which was great. What are the prices?
Hi, Frederick.
Guesses? Hi, Frederick. Do we have any guesses? 16 million from Sam Palmer. I love Sam Palmer. He's so into it. It's less than 16 million. You want to give us any other clues, John?
What I would say
18
is that
million.
what I would say, by the way, it looks so rich. I'm so glad to hear these high numbers because they're very high, almost 3 times as much what the actual price is. But I have
There
to
you
say,
go.
this is one of those opportunities in New York today. This is priced for the new market, priced for the market that we're in. So
Ooh,
it's
I
not
love
like it's a
that.
fire sale, but it really truly is priced for where we are in New York today. But I'm
All the
glad that it
guesses are
looks as
too high.
expensive.
It's under $10
Great.
million, people.
Yeah.
Under 10
It's so
million.
beautiful. That's statuary marble in there. I mean, the statuary marble in the kitchen as well. Custom millwork. The floors are really beautiful. It's a Siberian white oak. There are
Guesses?
these
Anyway,
window seats, big windows, tons of light.
we've got a 6 million. We're going to give it to Sam Palmer, who guessed it's 5.995 at the Emerson.
No, that
500.
one, honestly, that one is actually 4995. Typo. 4995.
Typo.
Yes.
4995. Oh my God.
4995.
I love it.
Yes.
It's like a game show. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well then
I just saved you $1 million. If you don't bring me the buyer, shame on you.
that's crazy for New York. That is insane.
Yes. That's what I'm
Okay,
talking
well,
about. There's great value today.
we're going to jump over and play a game real fast called, for Eklund and Gomes' team, called Go Big or Go Gomes, where the audience is going to guess stats about the Eklund Gomes brand, which is huge, people. It's huge. So your first question is, how many employees did Eklund Gomes have last month? Was it 49, 75, or 30? And this is for the entirety of their company. Remember, they have many offices. Is it 49, 75, or 30? How many employees do Eklund Gomes have? The person who gets the correct answer out of 3 will have Everyday Essence mailed to their house. My favorite organic skincare. That's why I look so dewy, people. Sam Palmer with a 49. The first person to get it right. First person, Andrew Seeley, 49. That's incorrect. I love you, though, Andrew. Love your yoga. You guys follow Andrew. He's an amazing yogi. How many employees do Eklund Gomes have? Is it 49? 75. Eric Morgan gets it correct. Eric, you're cheating.
Ding, 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 ding.
That is correct. It is 75 employees. Okay, good one. Good one. All
and
right.
They're all very talented, by the way. A very, very talented group of people who make the Eklund Gomes team.
And John knows every one of their first and last names.
Yes, of course.
Moving on. 75 million, 60 million, or 90 million. What is the price of the most expensive listing that Eklund & Gomes are putting on the market this month? Is it 75 million, 60 million, or 90? I'll give you a clue. It is in New York City. John, do you know the answer?
Yes, I know the answer.
I'm so excited for this listing for you, my God.
Me too.
Sam Palmer with the win for $90 million. Can you tell us anything about this upcoming listing? A neighborhood?
Gosh. Well, what I can tell you is that it comes from another really top building in New York. It comes from the same neighborhood, straddling right there on Central Park. It is 432 Park. And it is, wow. It's massive.
I cannot wait to see this.
It's high up in the sky. You can literally like look down over the clouds on cloudy or rainy days. And,
is it just you listing it? Is it just you and Frederick?
Yeah, it's with one of our team members. We do everything in New York with our team members because we always take a team member and we work with them. So yes, but unlike the LA market where there's a lot of co-broking between,
I was going to say in LA this would be co-listed with 10
people. You co-list, right?
Yeah.
So that was new for us. That was new for me when I started learning that that's how you do business there. However, no, in New York we generally don't do that. So yes, this is solely for Eklund Gomes. So if you're doing the math, yes, Eklund Gomes is going to get that commission. And we're going to keep it all ourselves.
I'm impressed. You are going big and going Gomes.
Yes.
Last question. Yes. This is a quick fire round, audience. How many offices do Eklund & Gomes currently have in the U.S.? Is it 2? Is it 5? Or is it 3? The quickest person to get it right, hopefully. Is it 2 offices, 5 offices, and 3 offices? John, where do you see the company going? Do you want more offices? Do you want to go international? Do you want to keep it as it is? Where do you see, what's next for Eklund Gomes? Sam Palmer, R.D. Williams, they all think you have 5 offices. Thank you for the sound effects, John. So he's a guest and also our producer, John Gomes. Anybody? Booby Davenport gets it correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
New York, LA, and Miami. Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you for playing. Go big or go Gomes. John, what do you think? Like, do you want to keep it to 3? Do you envision having 10?
Frederick and I are really all about living in the moment, quite frankly. Our business has evolved over the past 15 years quite organically. And, we always sort of in the back of our minds thought we should expand because we had built all this brand equity. And we had what we thought was a national presence. And we were so tired of sending all of our clients referrals to both the Miami market and to the LA market. I was like, we're going to get what, 25% of that? That just didn't work. So I thought, well, why don't we just set up shop there? And so we did that. But for now, I feel really confident and comfortable where we are, our clients really travel in that triangle, if you will. And there are other places where clients want to be, but not as much as these three particular cities. So we do have partners in other cities where we do refer our business, and also internationally. But for now, I'm really focusing on those three, and that's all we need.
That's all we need for now. I'm gonna leave,
That's it.
John. Before we go, I just want to give props to. Not a lot of people know that you're half African American and half white, and so you're
Yes.
doing this amazing initiative on Eklund and Gomes that I'm so excited to be a part of. Tell us about your Black Lives Matter initiative and what's going on with it.
Yeah, so I'm biracial. My dad is black and my mom is white. And, we have a very diverse team. And a lot of the black team members at Eklund Gomes had a very hard time through this Black Lives Matter. And many of them reached out to me. And one day, one of them reached out and said, hey, a few of us wanted to talk. And, they just really needed some emotional support, I think. And I was also feeling like, all kinds of, I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling sad. So we all just talked. It was just, again, very organic. We were having a conversation. And finally, this bell went off in my mind. Ding. I know how you like those noises that I make. Ding.
Yeah, ding.
The bell went off in my mind, and I thought, wait a minute. Why are we having a conversation with 7 people who are passionate about this very important topic on humanity? We have a platform and also a social responsibility. So I just knew in that moment, my heart told me, and it was pounding so rapidly, that I needed to somehow do something so that a larger audience of people could feel the passion that I felt from my team members on that phone call. So we thought, let's have a series, 8 weeks long. We're going to discuss humanity and racism and our industry and how we can make it better. And so we carefully put together the schedule that you see on your screen now. All of those 8 sessions will lead up to the culmination of our series, which is Marching on Washington. And I want to encourage everyone who's watching, please consider marching in Washington, D.C. on the 28th of August. It is the Black Lives Matter rally. It's going to be the biggest rally that you've ever seen in the history of America. Hopefully you read the article about Black Lives Matter being the largest movement in the entire country, in the history of the country. That was in the cover of the New York Times last weekend. Some people think that this is just a moment in time. I personally think that this is the movement of our time. And I am so thrilled and honored to be able to support this and to be able to, share our love. Once again, love is the answer.
You're giving me chills, John.
No, it's just like it is. It is like people forget. I mean, everyone takes so much. We're always taking. But there's like one planet that we all live on, and we're all humans. So just like get with the program, and love is the answer. Love your neighbor. Treat others how you want to be treated. It's very simple. Who cares what color your skin is, or what your accent sounds like, or what color your eyes, your hair are? Who cares? I care about what's inside. I look at people. I was talking earlier to someone. I look at people, and it's so weird. I don't see really the physical presence when I meet someone. I'm so in tune, and I'm very intuitive, like Frederick, who we call the witch, by the way, side note, because he's so intuitive. And I think sometimes my intuitive energy gets stronger from being, around him. But when I meet people, I see them, but I'm looking deep into their eyes, and I see them from the inside. And I'm so intuitive that sometimes I get so scared, because I've met like a few people look like polished on the outside, but they're really scary on the inside.
They're scary, but I love that.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Definitely not in this industry, but I love that you have this programming happening every single week. How do we join?
Okay, so look out on Frederick's social media and my social media, and I'll send it to you as well so that you can share it on your social media. There'll be a link that you can just register, and we actually had so many people register that we had to.
But is it every Tuesday? Is it every?
No,
Tuesday?
It's every Wednesday. It's every Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you do have to register. We had to upgrade our Zoom account because we had so many people that joined that we needed more. We had to pay more money to Zoom. So that we could do this. So anyway, I would strongly, highly recommend that you do join. It's so beautiful. The responses that we got, the emails, the texts, the phone calls from people, and the one response that was so common through all was, thank you I have been moved. You moved me.
Mm,
To
I
me,
love
that is
that.
the biggest compliment that anyone could ever make to us for doing that, because it moved them. What happens when someone feels moved is they feel motivated. You're moved, you're motivated, it's got your juices flowing, and then what happens? You probably do something or say something. This whole thing is about understanding one another, understanding the history of where this comes from, and really ultimately understanding where we all as a society want to take it. So again,
Right.
it's our social responsibility to do it. You can make a choice to be a part of it or not. I just personally, because I said of these kids that I have, I want, 20 years in the future, when they read about this in the history books, I want to be able to look my children in the eyes and say, I did this.
I was a
And that
part
was
of it,
me. Can you
yeah.
see me? I marched in Washington.
And
I
this is how
fought for
I
that.
gave back, and this is what I
This is what
did. I
I
didn't
did.
just, and I'm
Correct.
sure people can donate their time, they can donate their money, they can start
Absolutely.
conversations. This is a great way to get involved, and I love that it culminates with a march on Washington. If COVID will allow me, I will be there right beside you, John, and I think
Great.
it's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys can check out more at John Gomes for more about his Black Lives Matter movement Zoom. We'll call it a ZOOMent. And
Love it. Good one.
I need to go
Ding,
now
ding,
because I
ding,
have
ding,
to
ding. You get
ding ding
points.
ding ding. I have to go now because I have to work on your account. But I will talk to you. I will talk to you later.
Much love. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Much love. Thank you, John. Bye, everyone. And thanks
Bye-bye.
again for keeping it real talk. We will post this on our IGTV later, so you can check out any part of it that you missed. And once again, John Gomes, the activist, the father, the broker owner, the agent, and the all around best friend. We'll see you next week on Real Talk. Bye bye.